What's up, everybody? Ralph here. So I came across this article titled Why So Many People Hate the Super Rich but Still Love Guys Like Elon Musk and Bill Gates, according to psychologists, right? So when I read this title, I asked myself, how do I feel about like super rich people? Like if you probably asked me like, 6-7 years ago, I probably would have had some like animosity towards them or a little bit of jealousy. But I think my mind kind of changed once I started my business, right? Like I saw the amount of work that you had to put in and to get successful with it. And in 2018, like things changed. Like I started making money with my business, so I kind of had a like admiration for them, and I understood the level of sacrifice. But I can understand how, just being a human, that when you see someone doing better than you, it's easy to be like, oh man, like how they making so much money, or like Elon Musk made an extra $1 billion. So it's easy for people to get a little bit jealous, and because somebody's doing better than you and you wish you were doing that well. Because you never see like other rich people jealous of other wealthy people. It's usually people that aren't doing as well as the other people that that tend to have this jealousy. Like even with athletes, you see athletes, they get paid millions just to play a kid's game. A lot of people like to use that. So I think it's human nature to really get a little jealous and envious of people that are doing so better than you, especially when it comes to finances. And, especially if you're struggling financially, like, you see other people doing so well. It's like, damn, can I get a piece of that? So when I read that article, I kind of reflected upon myself. I was like, how do I feel about it? And if, like I said, 6-7 years ago, I would probably felt, that a little jealousy and a little envious. But once I started my business and then, I started making a little bit of money with it, I saw the level of work and sacrifices needed to become successful. And remember, success is a mindset. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is mindset. Wealthy people have this mindset that I can make this money. People that aren't wealthy have this mindset that, oh man, I can't do this. So once you say I can't, you already turned yourself off. Instead of asking the question, how can I? All right. So it's a mindset. So going into this article, all right. It said, all right, the Ohio State University and Cornell University published new research on Monday showing why people tend to admire individual billionaires but dislike the socioeconomic class of extremely wealthy people. Like, notice they differentiated between individual billionaires and extremely wealthy people. Like, billionaires aren't wealthy, but I'll get to it in a moment. The study, which involved 2,800 participants across 8 different experiments, found that people commonly believe individuals get rich because they're smart, talented, and hardworking and are deserving of their wealth. And I'm sure we could all look at guys like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and understand why they seem to be different than everyone else. If you create a business like Amazon, you create a business like Amazon and stuff like that. I mean, you can understand why they deserve to be where they are. Right? And Tesla, obviously Tesla, I kind of forgot about it. But yeah, if you create something like Tesla and Amazon, then you kind of can understand why, these wealthy people deserve, the money that they make. They create something that add value to society, even though it's a ridiculous amount of money. But as a person that started a business, I can see the level of the amount of sacrifice and the level of effort that's needed to be put in. If you create something like that brings so much value to people, you deserve the money that you get. Right. And the study shows that, people feel the same way. So, but when it comes to groups of wealthy individuals like C-suite executives or the top 1% of American wage earners, most folks have a cynical view. They attribute those groups' wealth to luck and economic system that favored them, says Jesse Walker, the study's lead author and an assistant professor of marketing at Ohio State University Fisher's College of Business. So I think a lot of people have issues with executives, the CEOs and stuff like that. They think because they earn a lot of money running these businesses. So, but they don't see them, they don't categorize them, or they don't see them in the same way they see Bill Gates or Elon Musk. They see them as someone that's fortunate to know certain people, or they got lucky and society favored them into that position. But let's be real, like if you're running a company, a multi-billion-dollar company, you're gonna get paid a lot of money. You can't be an idiot running a company like that, But I think a lot of people have animosity towards them because it's like almost like they got lucky to be put in a position that way. But let's be real, like if you're a CEO running a $1 billion company, I mean, they're gonna pay you a lot of money, whether you think they deserve it or not. All right? So in one study, let me see where I'm at. In one study of the experiments, participants read the same fact that the salaries of CEOs of the largest 350 companies in America had grown from 48 times the average worker in 1995 to 372 times today, framed in 2 different ways. One group read that all CEO salaries had increased, while another group read about a specific CEO of a large company, Phoenix-based electronics business Avnet, whose salary increased. Far more people in the second group emerged, saying that CEOs deserve to make more than the average employee. These findings could have real-world implications. Walker says that the way policymakers and media outlets discuss wealth and inequality can influence people's tolerance for extreme wealth disparities. People are more likely to support wealth taxes on the super rich when they think that about a group of billionaires versus an individual person, the studies found. So basically what they're saying is that when people think of billionaires overall, and you bring up the whole tax the rich, people are more, accepting of it. But a guy like, when you think of them individually like Elon Musk and Bill Gates, you don't really care about the whole argument of taxing the super rich. That's based on what the study says. And maybe that makes sense because when you look at Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, I think you can see you know who they are. It almost humanizes them. So you can say that, all right, they put in the work. They deserve the money. But when you just mention billionaires, the term, it doesn't put a face to all the billionaires out there. So it doesn't humanize them. So you don't really see the level of sacrifice and you don't sympathize or empathize with their level of effort or level of work. So, or you don't admire their work ethic. So you see a guy like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, you understand why they're billionaires. So you say, you know what, these guys deserve it. And if you bring up the argument of taxing the rich, it probably doesn't resonate as much as just saying tax the rich overall. So maybe that makes sense why people tend to say, when you just talk about taxing a group of billionaires, people are more accepting of it. Now, for me, when you talk about taxing rich people, like I get the argument. Like I said that, people tend to have an envious and tend to be jealous of people that are doing better than them. And when you're seeing all these people making so much money, and then you look at yourself and you're like struggling to just just to pay the rent or pay the mortgage. Yeah, it's easy to just like throw the argument, tax the rich, and say, yeah, they should pay their fair share, whatever that means. But for me, I look at it differently. Like, I understand, like, I'm not a big tax the wealthy type of person, because I think if you create something like value, you should benefit from that. And people don't understand that, like, just because you tax the wealthy, like, you think they have some of the best lawyers, best accountants, best tax lawyers. They're going to find a way to, not have to pay those taxes. Even though some people don't think wealthy people pay taxes, if you look at certain studies, they say the top 1% earners pay 40% of the taxes, right? And the bottom 90% pay about 28% of taxes. So, wealthy people do pay a lot of taxes. And right now, I'm not trying to defend tax people. It's more of an argument that, if you create something so valuable, there should be a benefit to that. And of course, obviously you pay taxes, but like, let's be real. Like, people, I'm not big on paying taxes, because I think tax is theft. Like, if I knew my taxes were going to like things like bridges, and which they do, but if it was going to bridges, clean up roads, schools and stuff like that, education, obviously everybody's going to want to pay taxes for that. But when it's going to the government that tends to be very inefficient with how they manage money, it almost tells me, like, why I'd rather the money go to, the people that actually understand how money works, rather than the people that are just throwing money away. Because if you think about it, think about taxing the wealthy. Like, if you raise the taxes of wealthy people, guess what's going to happen, right? They're going to figure out how. First of all, they're going to either get the best accountants and tax lawyers, so they don't have to pay taxes. Or if you raise the tax and they have to pay taxes, what they're going to do is they have a budget, right? Salaries are a huge part of any business. So what they're going to do is, like, all right, if I'm getting taxed as much, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to reduce staff. So that means people get fired, right? So they're going to fire people and then rehire people at a lower salary. So let's say if they fire someone that made $100K, they're going to fire that person and bring somebody back at like $60K. So it's just going to hurt the workforce, right? As a business owner, I understand when it comes to business, these guys, billionaires want to make money. You need to understand how billionaires work. They want to make money, and they understand the best way to make money is to have people working for them. Instead of them doing the work, they have people working for them. So they're going to take that money, reinvest it, and put it in the workforce and hire more people so that they can make more money. Right? But if you're going to increase their taxes, what they're going to do is just say, all right, I'm just going to get the best accountants and figure a way how not to pay taxes. And then, or I'm going to just reduce staff. Or the third thing they're going to do is they're going to increase the prices of products and services. So in the end, it always hurts the consumer. And you know what, I look at it this way, like billionaires, they make money for a reason because they know what they're doing. So for me, when I got to a point, like say 5-6 years ago, when I had that, that feeling towards, billionaires, I got to a point where I was like, instead of complaining, I'm going to learn how to play the game. Now, maybe I may never become a billionaire, but why not earn 6 figures, make $1 million, like, or build as much wealth as I can for myself. So it started, I took on the mindset, like, instead of complaining, I'm going to figure out how to be successful in this environment, especially in this country where you have the opportunity to build wealth for yourself. So it was a mindset for me. And I was like, I flipped the switch and I was like, I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to try to figure out how to build wealth for myself, because there's an opportunity there. All right. So to continue with the article, that's particularly relevant during the COVID-19 pandemic. As American billionaires continue to profit, billionaires have grown 2.1 trillion richer during the pandemic, with their collective wealth increasing by 70% according to data analyzed on Monday by advocacy group Americans for Tax Fairness and Institutional Policy Studies, a progressive think tank in Washington, D.C. Some billionaires have spoken up over the past few years about closing that gap. Gates, for example, wrote in December 2019 blog post that he supports a higher capital gains tax, which is the tax on money made on investments, and state income tax in the home state of Washington. A few people end up with great, and this is a quote, "A few people end up with a great deal. I've been disproportionately awarded for the work I've done, while many others who work just as hard struggle to get by," Gates wrote. At the time, Gates had a net worth about $109 billion, according to Forbes. Today, his real-time net worth is reportedly $134 billion, making him the world's fourth richest person. And that's the end of the article. So, you got Bill Gates, who's talking about, rich people should be taxed more. And I'm sure we could all make the argument that, that they should or they shouldn't. And I'm sure we can make that argument. But my thing is this, like, I took on the mindset and said, you know what, instead of complaining about all these people making money, how can I figure out how to make money for myself? Right? Because it doesn't do anything to complain about people making money. Billionaires are always going to make money. You're not going to stop it. They always figure out a way. Once you gather that much resources, you can always figure out how to make more money. That's what they do. They know how to do it, and they do it very well. So I think for anyone that has that mindset of just jealousy and envy towards billionaires, like, try to figure out how to get over that, because it doesn't do you any good. It's not going to help you make more money. Taxing them more is not going to put more money in your pocket. You know that. The only way it's going to put more money in your pocket is you putting in the effort, you starting a business, or if you're someone that's a 9-to-5 job, and you're stuck at where you are, develop more skills so you can get a promotion, or get a new job and get another job and they make more money. You gotta figure out ways to increase your value in society, because those that have value in society they benefit from it. Or if you're a person that's trying to start a business, like, bring value, like, figure out how to create revenues of streaming incomes. Like, you can do it. All right. You gotta just change your mindset and not worry about, like, what other people are doing and how much money they're making. Cause I understand it's hard. It's difficult. Like, you see people making money and you're like, oh man, I wish I was there. But you gotta use that as motivation. That's how I look at it. If somebody's making money, that just motivates me to say, all right, boom, I gotta put in more work, and more effort into doing this. And it can be done. And that's what I would say. Like, that's the advice I would give you. Like, it's not a I don't like the fact that we frame it as rich versus poor. We shouldn't do that. We should strive to want to be better. Everyone should strive to be better. And, like, not everybody's going to be successful, but why not you, right? Why not you be that person that reaches a certain level of success? And you don't have to make 6 figures. You don't have to make $1 million. You just want to get to a point where, even if you're making 60 or 70K, right? You want to get to a point where you don't have to rely on a 9-to-5 job. If you've created a business for yourself and and you've done that without the assistance of a job, then I think you're doing okay. Like, you have the freedom to do whatever you want, even if it's 60, 70K. It's not crazy good money, but if you're financially free where you don't have to rely on an outside source for your money, then I think that's a level of success that you should appreciate. And then you can always do more. If you want to make 6 figures or you want to make $1 million, then that's something you can do, right? Like, when it comes to a 9-to-5 job, you're limited, right? Like, in order to make more money, you have to either improve your skills or you got to ask your boss for a promotion. right? So you're a little bit limited. But if you're starting your own business, there's an unlimited, amount of resource that you can make. It's all about the amount of efforts that you put in there. You're continuing to learn and understand how to build your business and make it grow. Creating different revenue streams for your business. So I think this is something that you should, try to figure out and just get over the whole fact that, billionaires are making this amount of money, rich people, millionaires are making this amount of money, and figure out how you can get a piece of that pie. All right. So that's all I got for today. I hope you guys found that helpful. If you did, if you have any comments or questions, make sure you leave a comment down below. Hit the like button, subscribe, and then I'll catch you on the next one. All right.